sexiest thing in the entire world is being really smart.
Welcome to Smart is Sexy, the podcast where we discuss self-development.
I looked at him and we laughed, but now I'm back.
I don't understand.
It was just a momentary thing. Okay, go ahead. Break a leg.
It's like I can never do anything. Welcome to Smart is Sexy, the podcast where we discuss self-development, love, business, spirituality, and becoming a smarter, sexier human. I'm your host, Kelsi.
And I'm Celeste. Welcome to our show, y'all. If you haven't yet, hit subscribe right now, leave us a review, and send to a friend. Today's episode is sponsored by Awaza. Awaza is an innovative functional coffee formula that aims to do more than just wake you up. It propels you upward and forward through your daily grind to help you achieve your goals. It's made with clean ingredients, keeping us both smart and sexy. Use code SMARTISSEXY for 20% off when you order online at drinkawaza.com.
Today, we are talking about what's been going on in our lives, some work updates, and also want to discuss advice with you guys that we have about kind of starting a business.
Yeah.
A couple things have popped up in the last few weeks where we felt like whoever wants to start a business in 2023, we feel like we might have some advice and some expert opinions for you.
I feel like just because like when the new year comes around and you have like New Year's resolutions.
Yeah.
I thought it was like, oh, it's like a good time. Like if there was anybody who wanted to start a business. And I think a lot of people now, just with the way social media is, like, even if it's not a big business, you know, you might just want to start a small
something
brand.
small where you're like, I'm doing this on the side to make some extra money. Like, I feel like there's certain things that I can tell you to not do.
Yeah. Personal experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. And also, we're also going to discuss how it's Halloween in a couple days, and I'm going to be Kelsi for Halloween. I'm going to wear my camping sandals, and I'm going to...
So are you ordering Tevas?
No. I don't want to actually order them. I was hoping maybe I could borrow yours.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
Can I then borrow your like massive hoops that are like the size of your face? And your stripper heels that you have like 3 pairs of in your closet.
I have 2 pairs
And
of
can
them.
I also borrow your like dark lip liner?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
It looks so fire.
Okay, and I
Just
actually
put them all
have a
together.
black wig. So I'm gonna crush
I'm
this
going to be
outfit.
you, and I'm going to wear my camping shoes, and I'm just going to go into the middle of nature and frolic.
Where? You're gonna go to what? Like Griffith Park?
Yeah, and I'm going to just accessorize.
She's gonna frolic.
I'm going to accessorize.
She's gonna
So my
frolic in
accessories are
nature.
just going to be leaves. and I'm going to be a nature girl. And I'm going to maybe camp, maybe get a tent.
You're gonna get a tent.
Yeah.
I don't
I'm gonna
even have a tent.
I'm going to carry my tent. That's what I would do if I was going to be you.
Get a tent?
Yeah. I feel like you
I
camp.
don't even camp. I camped one time in a tent in like probably like the last like 20 years.
Oh, okay.
If I camp, like we usually like I camp in like a camper.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's what I'm going to do.
Okay.
I'm going to
would
go
love
into
to see
nature.
you
Just
camp.
just me in the middle of the forest.
All right.
I'm going to be you for Halloween.
Okay. Whoa. Okay. Anywho, really quick, it's so much easier with like having you here
What?
when we do our solos. It's like really hard for me.
Oh,
because
because you did your first solo.
Yeah, I did my one and only, and honestly, like that might be it, because like it was
Really?
hard. I didn't enjoy it.
Okay.
Um,
Kelsi does not like solo episodes.
No, I didn't like it. And it's so like maybe I'll enjoy it more as I get better with them, but it felt very uncomfortable to me. I legit was like, who cares? I'm sitting here talking to myself. I feel crazy.
Yeah, you do. You do feel crazy.
And then Odie's next to me, like snorting away, and he doesn't care. He's like, I listen to you talk all day, every day. I don't care. So yeah, I didn't love it. So I have never appreciated your presence before until I was sitting,
Wow, and
until
now
I was sitting by myself.
Wow, you
So.
should do more things to show your appreciation.
That was it. That was the one and only time.
I did a couple solos too. It's really awkward. You do feel nuts, but it's also kind of therapeutic. You really get all your thoughts out.
No, I didn't feel that way. I'm glad you did. I just didn't. I
Yeah.
was like, this was
But we haven't
uncomfortable.
done an episode in how long? A month?
It's been a minute.
Do you think it's a month?
The other thing is too, like, we do record more than one episode in a day, so it feels like it's been much longer that we've put one
True.
out than it actually has.
True.
So.
Well, you just like let everyone in on the secret.
Well, yeah,
Secret
you
tea.
guys, we own a business.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, come on, like, there's a lot of there's a lot of things we got to work around.
Yeah.
It's not. I don't have time every single week to glam. You're probably all looking at me right now thinking like, you glam.
No,
but
this is
like
this is
it's a
glam.
lot of work. So like, and there's a lot of prep that goes
so
into
much
things.
work.
It's like, yeah, I'm tired. I can't do this.
Yeah, for anyone
no,
who wants
we
to start
do-
a podcast, don't.
Bust them out in one day.
It is a lot of
Unless
work.
this is your full-time job.
Yeah.
Like Alexandra Cooper.
Yeah.
She's crushing.
I mean, if somebody wanted to pay me $60 million to film this, I would be in this studio every day.
Absolutely.
60 mil a year, let's run it. I'm in the stew.
Viper who?
Later, goodbye. Goodbye, Viper. Goodbye, everything. I'm in the studio.
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
now I'm like, okay, well,
Yeah.
I'm tired. So yeah, we film more than one episode in one day because
We do.
that's how shit has to
Yeah.
be scheduled.
And for anyone who isn't watching this, you're watching the audio or listening to the audio. That's so sad. But if you're watching, you'll notice Kelsey and I are twins. We're always twins. We have the same aesthetic all the time.
Just we look a little different.
A little different.
Okay.
But we're normally twins.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Okay, good news minute. It's been
Okay.
so long.
It has been a long time. Good news minute for me is that Taylor Swift's new album came out.
This is not surprising.
No, it's not surprising. It's just great. Like, that's it. Period. I don't really need to go into any more explanation. If you haven't listened to it,
I did listen to that one
Sucks to
song
suck.
last night with you. A few songs.
no, you actually listened to
We
quite
listened to
a few.
There's one I really like, Lavender Haze.
It's good.
I don't know if we listened to that many last night though. I don't feel
I
like
think we
really
listened to like
remember.
4 or 5.
You think
But
so? Okay.
yeah, but there's 20 on the new album.
Okay.
So
Well, Lavender Haze was good.
Lavender Haze is great. The other thing, you guys, is that the Taylor Swift TikTok is top tier because they like decipher all of her songs.
Yeah, they're like
And
the FBI.
it's great. I'm like, this is so funny to watch.
Yeah.
I'm not that much of a fan, I have to say. Like,
No, but you are like, you will defend her in a public room.
Oh, absolutely.
Doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter who it is. Like, you will come to her defense.
But the other day we were driving, I made Mans listen to it with me, and he was like, I gotta tell you, I don't know if I could date Taylor Swift. And I go, really? Why? He goes, it seems like a lot of drama.
Yeah, but it's also like, it's kind of worth it because she's like a billionaire, I'm sure, like a multimillionaire.
Yeah.
So it's like there'd be a lot of perks.
There would be a lot of perks. Yeah. But I think she's great.
Yeah.
So that's my good news minute.
I
What's
like that
yours?
you love Taylor so much you weren't even offended by that. You were just like, oh, you couldn't date her? Not like, yeah, obviously, because you have a girlfriend. You
No,
were
I
just
was,
like,
I was,
yeah, you were just like, oh, why?
like, and we said, I go, interesting. I said, is it because she's too famous? He goes, no, not at all. He goes, I just feel like she seems very intense and it would be a lot of drama.
Yeah, you were just like inquisitive. You
I was
weren't
like,
offended
huh.
at all.
No, not one bit.
Yeah. Okay, I love that for you.
Yeah.
Okay, my good news minute is
There's
I hosted. Oh my God. Okay.
You guys, I just flicked a fly. Legit flicked a fly off of my.
Kind of impressive.
Is he okay?
Who cares?
Okay.
Do you care?
Anyway, well, I don't know. He like really flew when I flicked him, and not because he was flying, because I had a strong little flick. Anyway, continue. What is your good news minute?
Okay, good news minute. I hosted my first Diwali, which is an Indian holiday, and it's a Hindu holiday, and we did it at the house, and it was cute. We had like a few girlfriends come over, and we got Indian food, and I lit candles. And what else did we do? I think that's it. I got henna and I got sparklers, but we didn't get around to it because we kind of just had a girls' night. We ended up just like drinking wine and hanging out.
And you guys all looked incredible.
We all wore like Indian fusion outfits, so we kind of like mixed and matched. We didn't go like full traditional, but you either wore like Indian jewelry or you just wore like bits and pieces of like an Indian outfit.
I want you to explain what Diwali is and like why you celebrate it, but it is kind of a long story.
Well, the history of it is a long story, and there's also like multiple renditions of it. But to summarize in a nutshell, it's like good over evil. And so you light candles and you leave a light on, and it's basically just saying like this is the presence of light over darkness. This is the presence of good over evil.
Got it.
Yeah.
There's because when I asked about like why you guys celebrate it and what the meaning of it is, there is a lot of gods that are involved.
Always.
And it's honestly a great story. It's
Yeah.
like very fun to listen to, especially when our friend Darnie told
the
us
story.
the story.
Yeah.
She explained it. She's like,
Yeah.
homeboy over here.
Yeah.
And she was fun to listen to.
I
So it
always
was a
tell my
good-
mom, because like there's so many Indian gods, and I always tell her, I'm like, it's a soap opera, and it really is. Like we have a book, it's over there if you ever want to read it. It's like a Spark Notes version of all the gods and their stories, but there's so much drama, and there's always like a scandal involved.
Wait,
and
that's cute. I do want to.
it's really short. It's like for kids.
Okay.
But there's so many gods, and so I always tell my mom, I'm like, this soap opera. But yeah, so that's basically it. It's good over evil. So I hosted that for the first time at the house, and then like the girls came over. Obviously you were there. The food was great too. We ordered from this like
Food was
Indian
really
spot
good.
I've never had before. So I did that, and then my
Except
second
that one spicy thing that I was
oh
like,
yeah.
it tasted great, but I was like,
It was so spicy.
I can't have the same.
No, that happened to me one time because my mom eats obviously super spicy food. My mom grew up in India, and I went out with her friends and we went to a buffet. So you can't order. Usually if you go to an Indian restaurant, you pick mild, medium, hot. But at a buffet, they obviously pick for you. And so I had got food, whatever, sat down with all her friends at a table, and my mouth was on fire. Like I could not hang. And so I just ordered like 3 Cokes back to back, but I was trying to play it cool. Like I was trying to be like, I'm not a baby bitch, you know? But like, so I was.
But you were one.
But I was dying. And then
Okay.
afterwards I was like, Mom, go to Starbucks right now. Like, you know,
Why Starbucks?
because they have like milk in their drinks, and I needed something to like, my mouth was on fire. It was the spiciest thing ever. This was like
So you're gonna like look for a Starbucks rather than just like look for a grocery store?
this was at a buffet in Artesia, so there was like a Starbucks nearby.
Oh,
Because it's
okay.
like a street place full of places, and I was just like on fire. But anyways, so that was that, and then yeah, so that's my good news, Min.
Okay, great. I love that. Yeah, it was a fun little night. I had a good time.
Yeah. But anyways, moving into it, I thought we'd discuss what's been going on. In case anyone wanted the Viper tea. I don't know if we have any Viper tea. We're
Things
back
have-
at the stadium.
Things have honestly just been like really smooth with Viper. We're super lucky because we have like an incredible team of girls who like really
Yeah.
just kind of handle a lot of the on-site stuff that we don't have to worry about. So
Yeah.
that's been going really well.
It's so
SoFi's
funny though.
picking up.
Like, so we have a team of like, we have a ton of girls that work for us, and because of SoFi and because of like, you know, girls like they work together a lot, but Kelsi and I are never on site, so we never like know really what's going on like between the girls. And then like sometimes I'll like pop in for like a surprise visit, or I'll like talk to one of the girls and I'll like get all the like little drama, and it's like so like it's not like extreme drama, it's like, you know, easy stuff. It's like very natural, but it's just so funny from like a founder perspective, because I think about like, it's like our little babies, you know, like all like having their own little drama because of this shift, or, you know, whatever, girls, this bottle server or this door or this night or whatever. And then ultimately like they're all friends and they all hang out. But it is so funny from a founder perspective when you have like people who work for you, and then you just like are never there, and you pop in and you just hear all the tea about what's going on.
Yeah, it is funny, but things been good. Like, you know, we're working. It's been it's been super busy, which has been amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, but also I would love for you to update everyone. You went to the Forbes Under 30 conference.
I did.
I couldn't go because I was planning a wedding, but
you were being a maid of honor. I went to 30 Under 30 in Detroit. If you listened, I did a small solo recap, but if you didn't listen, it's not a big deal because I'll go over it again. But yeah, I went to 30 Under 30 in Detroit, which is essentially just a conference where they bring out like a ton of speakers, and you can meet people who have made the list from all over the country. And then this year they actually opened it up to like non-list makers as well, which like they kind of ebb and flow year by year of whether or not they're going to do that.
because we've been before, and we weren't
went
on that
years
list.
ago. We went like, what year was that? Like that had to be like 2017 or something.
It was 2016, the year we started.
Yeah, okay,
Viper.
so we went 2016 when they had opened it up to everyone. We went to Boston for it. So yeah, so I went this year, 2022. And it was honestly interesting. I hated Detroit. I don't ever want to go back to Detroit. Granted, I only went to downtown Detroit, so maybe the rest of it is
Detroit.
nice.
You hated it.
I hated it. I really did. And like,
She is not putting Detroit on the map.
No. Well, I mean, I'm sure it's like a cool place. They have cool history. And I did Google the history because I did need to understand the claim to fame. But I was only in downtown Detroit. So maybe other parts of it are like life-changing. But I was not a fan of the city when I went.
But the conference itself, did you feel like you like really took something huge from it? Or was it just kind of like, I'm great, I already knew all of this?
To be completely honest, I didn't really take that much from it. I think what I did take from it, which is like not the point of the conference, is that I saw so many like celebrities and high executives speak, like people who own all the top companies in the world, or, you know, celebrities that we all know. And they were all great. Like they all said great things, but nobody said anything new. Nobody said anything I didn't know. And I think what it made me realize is like, honestly, like we're all super capable. We all really are like pretty intelligent. I mean, maybe not like every person, but like in a general sense of just people who want to start a business and things like that. Like a lot of like the celebrities and like the people at the top, like you think in your head they're so much better, they're so much smarter, or that they know something that you don't, but they kind of don't. Like,
yeah,
I think they just believe in themselves.
Yeah, we're all just kind of figuring it out together.
Everyone's just figuring it out. I think they also just believe in themselves. Some of them obviously come from a place of privilege. They had rich parents or famous parents or whatever. That's very helpful. But the ones who didn't too, like they said things and I was like, I'm super grateful that I got to hear it and have it reiterated. But I didn't take anything away that I was like, oh, now I know something new, or now I know something
that
life-changing.
also could be because you're a founder.
True.
That I think when you're maybe starting out,
yeah,
or you haven't started a business yet, there are things and like little nuggets that people can drop on you. They're like, whoa, that was super helpful.
Yeah.
But because you're on that same journey that they're
Right.
on, even though they're sitting on the stage and you're in the crowd,
Right.
there isn't a huge difference because you are still experiencing the exact same ebbs and flows that they are.
Yeah, and they chose, you know, they had some celebrities on there that I think obviously they chose because they were celebrities, but their brands were so new. And it's like if you take a celebrity and they have a brand and it instantly sells out, it's like it's kind of hard for me to respect that journey from a founder CEO perspective.
For sure. And the person that we're talking about is, well, at least one of them was Hailey Bieber.
Yeah.
And listen, I'm not taking away the girl's success. She is who she is, and she has road, and they're crushing it. But,
They're crushing.
But your obstacles are going to look different,
Super different.
than people who really did start from no money,
Yeah.
no name, no success. Again, I'm not
just
shitting
exactly.
on
I
her.
agree. You know, and I think, and let me say, she had the most fire fit of any speaker.
For sure.
The fit went crazy. Okay, I was like, damn.
But again, you have a stylist.
You have a stylist.
You have a makeup artist.
The
you have a
earrings were
hairstylist.
fire. The outfit was
looked
clean.
incredible.
The shoes were fire. I mean, she had the most fire fit. She looked beautiful.
And not hating on her, but you also had called me afterward, and
Yeah.
you're like, I wish she would have been potentially a little bit more open and honest about the challenges of what it is like to start a company.
Well, I don't know that she necessarily knows, and maybe she does. I think if you're a celebrity, though, I would have just been more honest. I would have been like, listen, I'm a celebrity. I had a lot of privilege. So my journey looks a little different, and I'm going to tell you my story as opposed to trying to take the perspective of a founder. Because I think, you know, there was a lot of chatter after, because you also have to know the audience. Like, it's a business audience. It's a lot of founders, and a lot of us have struggled in it in different ways. And I really respect her, and I respect everyone because they have their own careers. She has struggles that I don't have, right? Like, I don't have the struggle of like 18 million fans critiquing my every move.
Oh yeah, you don't have the hate, and
I don't deal with any of that.
you can post a photo on Instagram without millions of people
Yes.
judging you and being like, well, you got it for.
And honestly,
Yeah.
her struggle might be that she doesn't have as much room to make mistakes. That could be her thing. I don't really know. I don't want to speak for her. But I think when we give her an opportunity and a platform and we say, what are your mistakes? and she responds with, "Oh, I chose the wrong Pantone color." I'm like, okay.
I also chose the wrong Pantone color, so I do I actually understand that one struggle.
Yeah,
because the original Pantone pink that Viper chose was a bad color because they couldn't print it anymore.
They couldn't print it.
So I do understand that.
In front of the Forbes
No,
community,
that wouldn't have been
what
it.
is one mistake that you have made just to kind of, you know what I mean? So it was things like that where I was like, okay, privilege is an interesting subject. You know,
it is, and it comes in so different
many
shapes
different
and
ways.
sizes.
And so it's not, and like I said, I respect her. I have no issues with her. I think she's gorgeous. Like I said, most fire fit by far of all the speakers.
She may have worked her ass off to create that brand.
Yeah.
But we didn't get that. Yeah, I say we as if I were there.
Well,
you just told me about it.
I think it's like, and that's why I think it's like we just do such a disservice to people when we take this very like highlighty reel approach, you know, like with this like it's almost untouchable. You know, it's like, oh, my only mistake was a Pantone or, you know, whatever. And so I do appreciate when people are a little bit more transparent. Yeah. Obviously, that's a personal choice. And then with other speakers, like I said, I think they were amazing. But nobody really like said anything crazy. My favorite speaker was Giveon, which is he's an R&B singer. You know some of his songs for sure. He's like Heartbreak Anniversary.
Okay.
He has like a song with Snow Allegra. He's honestly like a huge artist now. He was so honest, and that's like why he was my favorite speaker. He was like very relatable and very normal, but also is very successful for being, you know, 27 and whatnot. He was by far my favorite, and he talked about how we need experience to create in any sort of like creative or artist position, and how, you know, like the industry and people in general, like we all try to rush everything that we do because there's so much competition and the world moves so fast. And he was like, if there's anything I would ask for the audience, it'd be like, give artists and creative like more time so we can like actually have integrity to our art instead of rushing everybody.
I think that's great advice, because I think that's something that founders can do with themselves. You can give yourself more time and more grace and more life experience, so you are able to create, because starting a business is very challenging, but then once you start, evolving your business is also incredibly hard, but that comes from time, experience, and that's all from just like living your life. Yeah,
it's something I struggle with a lot. Ever since I turned 25, every year before my birthday, I start freaking out. I'm like, oh my god, I don't know if I've done anything with my life, and it happens like around my birthday specifically. And I think it's normal. I think like everyone kind of goes through like their own version of it, but I think it's hard with social media because when you look on social media, everyone's like always popping every second of every day. And we forget that like it's very normal to have seasons where you're just in like, oh, I'm in like strategy mode, or I'm in like low key hermit mode, or I'm in, you know,
I'm never really
mode.
popping. The little versions that you see on Instagram are like, oh, that is a highlight. But you guys, I got to tell you, day in and day out, I look really scrubby. I'm sitting and like working, but I'm like really like grinding and digging deep. But like, Instagram, unless there are some people where I'm like, yeah, you really put it on the table, and I love that for you.
No, and I think there's seasons for it. We've had seasons like where we were just nonstop, like article after article, dropping like new events. Like we've had seasons like that. They're very busy. We've also had seasons where we don't put much out. You know, it's just like things ebb and flow. Yeah. And I just think like it is important to have like the downtime seasons, because you need those to strategize and to think and to create. And you also need it to become like the next version of you. You know, if you're always posting or you're always trying to keep up, it's like, how much can you really evolve because content is like such a full-time job. And it's just so interesting. I know we talk about this a lot, but I just think it's so interesting because it's so important. As like somebody, you kind of have to play that game now, because that's just like part of the economy at this point. But it is a full-time job, and so it's an interesting split.
Yeah, it is interesting. I very much have a love-hate relationship with content.
Same.
I'm currently in a phase where I don't love it. Yeah. I'm trying to like get myself out of it, but it is hard, because at the end of the day, I'm like, who cares? Like, who cares what I'm doing? Yeah. I'm trying to like work and grind and like create an empire. Yeah. Why do no one cares what I'm eating or what my makeup looks like. I feel the same. So it's hard. I go through ebbs and flows of it for sure. Sometimes I'm like, oh, everyone should know what I've got going on. And then there's other times I'm like, why? No one cares. You guys all have your own lives and you guys all have your things going on that you're more concerned about. So it definitely is. It is a struggle for sure.
Well, and I always think about, because I always want to be like, I always want to have so much integrity to what we do. I always want to like really know my shit. I want to hone my craft. I want to be one of the best. And we've said this before, like that's not like that grind is not TikTokable. Like it's not, I don't post content every day because I'm actually sitting at my computer working. I'm not glammed up making like fun 15-second bits about my life. You know what I mean? Like that to me, it's just so phony. Like when I watch these edited down, aesthetically pleasing versions of content of day in my life or get ready with me, it's like, that's great. And it did its job for entertainment. But did it like further along your real life? Maybe, maybe not. For me, it just doesn't. And I'm like, when I'm reading a book or I'm learning something new, like that's not interesting to anybody, you know? Like the grind is not necessarily like interesting online.
Yeah. And to be honest, unless you're like a Jeff Bezos, but even he grinds every day. Like there's nonstop grind. So I was gonna say, unless you're Jeff Bezos
in my life. Jeff Bezos,
I would watch that.
I would watch that.
He probably gets up and like puts jeans on.
Yeah.
And he's like, here's my brown belt.
Yeah. Here's my Raisin Bran.
I actually have no idea what he eats. He probably is like a super nice chef and like has like a designer stylist coming to his home.
I just want to like imagine a day in his life, you know? Like what is he
he like gets up and he's like, 4 a.m. I'm awake. I'm gonna go brush my teeth with my fancy toothbrush.
He probably has a smart house. It probably like does everything. It probably dresses him. He probably just stands there and it just put clothes on him.
He probably has that Clueless closet.
From Clueless.
I hope that other people know what I'm talking about, but like where you get to like pick your outfit because it slides the outfits by. Oh,
and it probably dictates his outfit by the weather. So it's like, Jeff, today it's 49 degrees. We're going to put you in a jacket.
If I had the option, I would be like a Steve Jobs type because I would get up every day and wear a black turtleneck and black pants.
He did that on purpose.
Yeah, but I would and I put on black pants and black heels.
Yeah.
I might change into some loafers every single day.
Yeah.
Because then it's like, I feel great. I feel super hot and I'm ready to take on the day.
That was like that was so intentional. It honestly was so smart. Yeah.
But I think that just like advice that I could give people, especially like revolving around content, we're moving into like such a phase of life where it's like, that's all anyone's talking about right now, at least in our industry. It's like, if you don't have a brand, if you're not creating a brand for yourself and creating a brand for your company and putting it all out on Instagram so everyone can see, you're not going to do well. I got to tell you that I think is not the best advice, and something that we have always done with Viper and realistically anything we've created from scratch is we've always chosen longevity over short-term money. Like any fast money, even though it sounds appealing and it's like, oh yeah, that's great, you could make a quick buck, we've always chosen to build a reputation, whether it be for ourselves, for a business, and we've always chosen the longer road because we knew that success was at the end of it.
Yeah. It's so hard to say because it's like, if I was giving advice to someone, it's like if I was starting a business today and I wasn't me with Viper, but I had the experience of Viper, I would build content around what I was doing, but I would also not ignore the basics, which to me are books, learning, networking, strategy. I would not ignore those things. I feel like today we think that, oh, I watched 6 TikToks on real estate, I'm ready to go be a realtor. No, you're not. I feel like we think that and same thing. I was literally just listening to a podcast on this, the All In podcast, where they talk about investing. And they're like, if you just are you're just watching TikToks and YouTubes on investing, you're not a strategic, a smart investor. This is a long-term game. And I agree. We always did play the long term.
I understand what you're saying. I do disagree in a small way because I do think, yes, you have to play a part of where things are headed, and content is one of those things, but I don't believe that that's the way for you to get success or be wealthy, or I don't think that. I think that there's a lot of people that we can look at that they were creative. They hustled and they were like, I have an idea and I believe in it more than anything else. They didn't put content out, and that's okay. Like, I know times have changed, but I don't think that's the only way to like find success and do what you want to do.
I don't think
and
it's
like
the
make
only
money.
way. I definitely think it's like so important now, like because of the creator economy, because of heading into Web3, because of heading in that direction. Like as we've seen, like we just keep getting further into technology. We just keep getting further into like an online presence. I also think it's helpful if you do it right, because you're able to be on a global scale, you know, versus like before when it's like, oh, I have to put an ad in my local newspaper. Like I would do
it's
it
super
right.
helpful for businesses and for you to grow your business.
Right.
I'm not discounting that. I'm saying that like as a founder, you don't need to be putting out what I do in a day every single day in order to be
I don't think so at all.
making an impact on what you're doing with your business.
No, I think we could all
I
use
agree
less
and
of
I
those.
disagree with the content creator economy right now.
Yeah.
There are things where I'm like, oh, okay, I can understand that and I see that. And there's other things where I'm like, but is this a little bit of a fad? I could be wrong. I could totally be wrong, but there is a part of me right now. I also am someone who I'm like, just put down your freaking phone and like be present in a moment.
I think it depends on the business. I think it's like if you're moving a product, you have an access to be in front of a global scale to where you could literally be quite literally living your life more because your product is making money for you because you're just moving sales, you know, especially if you were doing like if you had a direct to consumer business and you had a third party shipping service and you put out a good piece of content and then went on vacation and made $1 million, you know?
Yeah.
So
I think it's
depends.
different. I think because we live in Los Angeles, a lot of the content that I take in is a lot about just like, look what I'm doing. Look what I'm doing. Look what I'm doing. And I'm like, okay.
I'm super over that.
We get it. You drank coffee today from like a
literally.
bougie place. I'm super happy for you.
I
Great.
cleaned my bathroom with me. Like, no.
No, do people do that? No one wants to see me clean my bathroom. I can guarantee you.
People do a lot. You'd be surprised. People got a lot going on social media.
Yeah, I think I'm way off social media these days.
No,
I don't
it's
know.
true. I think you should be strategic with it. I just think we're also so over inundated.
I agree with
it.
what you're saying. There's just aspects of content that I'm like, who freaking cares? And let's move on and like actually do something and move humanity forward.
I've always wondered about influencers because I'm like, okay, but if as supply goes up, because now everyone's a fucking influencer, then demand goes down. That's just like law. So I'm like, at what point does this trend, I don't know. I think it just depends on your goals too, you know? Because like for me, I'm like, I don't want to spend all my time doing this. I want to spend my time having integrity to what I do or like, to be one of the greats.
Sometimes I want to just like learn a new skill and like pick up a hobby.
And that's what I'm saying. It's not like TikTokable. Yeah. So I think you have to like know, but it is just so interesting because then I don't know. I'm like, maybe I'm missing something, but I kind of don't think I am.
But that kind of then moves into you have to get very, very clear on what you're creating and what you want to be doing in the future. And that will change and it evolves. Like when we first started Viper, it was very, very different. And our goals were different than what they are now.
Right.
That comes with like starting a brand. You start something and it kind of evolves. But do get clear on your goals and do get clear on what you want.
I think too, like something that I've experienced that this makes me really distracted is like I know my goals and I know like things I want in general, but you have to also realize some things are just byproducts, right? Like for a long time I was like, okay, I just need to figure out like how I make enough money to do XYZ, or like how do I scale visibility? How do I, whatever goals we had back in the day, one of the goals was even to have a podcast. But some of those things, no, it's true.
I know. Do you remember when this was back, we had never even moved in together. I bought 2 mics and our little red focus sight. I think it's called the focus sight box. We still have it. And I bought all the stuff and you go, why did you buy that?
Yeah.
And I go, because I think we should start a podcast. We had just barely started like making even a little bit of money with Viper.
If anything.
It was like the smallest amount. I think you were still living with your mom. I was still living in like my 200 square foot studio. And I was like, I bought this. And you're all, why?
Yeah.
And I was like, I think I have an idea.
Yeah.
And then 3 years later, we actually did it.
We should have started it then, just because I would have loved to listen to what we had to say.
It would have been very different than what we have to say now.
Yeah.
But we did start.
it.
I bought it forever ago.
And that's the thing too. I think like we get so confused because we all have so many goals, but some things are just byproducts, right? Like I would say, in my opinion, don't focus on how am I going to get rich. Focus on like your goal, your purpose, what you want to build. Wealth is just a byproduct of that. But when we focus on the things that are a byproduct, whatever you want, you might want wealth, you might want influence, fame, I don't know, whatever you might want. I don't know, to get invited to parties, who knows? But like those are byproducts of what comes with your building. And so something that's really helpful is to figure out your top goal, because then you're more focused. When I'm like, oh, I want 1 through 5, all these things, then I'm like, shit, how am I going to do all that? Then I start to lose my mind because I'm like,
and then I do nothing.
Then you do nothing because it's
there's
like
too much going on in your brain.
Analysis paralysis.
And that is a very real thing that I experience weekly.
Yeah.
Sometimes daily.
I have too many things going on.
Yeah.
I know I want this, and this. You have to get focused because that's the only way to find, for me, a path forward. Everything else is a byproduct. So I think if you wanted to start a brand, distinguish what's the goal and then what are byproducts of those goals that I want.
So I have been seriously struggling.
With English?
Cute. Yeah. Like just speaking actually lately I'm having a hard time with. No, I've been really struggling with analysis paralysis. So we purchased these new very fancy planners and I am praying that it's going to solve my problems because I even after 6 years of having a company and then starting a podcast, we're launching something else that's very separate from Viper. I still, to this day, you'd think that I'd be like, oh, you'd be a pro at, being organized and, figuring out what your priorities are day to day. Nope, I haven't. I'm still like, I have to make coffee and I have to send out 10 emails and I have to feed the dogs all at once. And I'm like, so we should just sit here.
There's also so many moving parts. Like being a founder means not only am I managing my team, I'm managing my current clients, I'm managing the current ways I bring in money, but then I'm also thinking about the ways we're going to bring in money next quarter, next year, whatever. Then I have to think about marketing. Then I have to think about payroll. Then I have to think about, every time I see payroll, we've had this company for 6-7 years. Every time I approve payroll, which is twice a month, I'm like, people work here. Every time. I'm always like shocked, because I look at these numbers, I'm like, damn, we're spending a lot of money on payroll. And it's just like, and then I'm like, okay, well, if we just spent that much money on paying the team, now how are we going to bring in X amount next quarter to make sure that my salaries are hit,
that I'm also making money
100%. And then it's like a daily, and then it's like also how am I evolving the brand, what's coming next, who's updating this, what's going on over here, what's going on in every department of the company. So there's just so many moving parts, and then obviously we take on like other advisory roles and stuff too. So I struggle with the same thing. So it's like, I think one thing I would say too is if you're going to start a business, and if you have another, like a real job, not a real job, but like a paying job, and you want to start a business, you got to find a schedule, like a productivity schedule that works for you.
Have you found a productivity schedule?
I used to have one, and I'm off it right now. And right now I'm just all over the place. And that doesn't work.
I haven't found one lately because life has changed. Life's different. And that's the thing too, is that with your personal life comes the changes of work life. So you have to figure out both things. I have not found one yet, and I am determined with my new fancy planner. I am determined to find a schedule that's like, okay, this is gonna work for me.
Because otherwise I'm just like, it's also hard because I feel like my phone goes off all day and it pulls me out of anything I'm doing. So I do need to have like office hours, which I think we used to have, which was like nobody's allowed to call me during office. They can call me, I just won't answer. But
that's up to you. That's up to you to not pick up.
We used to have office hours to where I think our team even knew, like, hey, you won't be able to get a response from them during these hours. I think we used to do that.
We did?
Or we had office hours, or we had something. I remember
the team is not allowed to text anything regarding work after 7 p.m.
No, I know
unless it's an event night. That's something that we do implement. And I'm very strict on that because I want our girls to be able to decompress, have a life, and they don't, unless there's an event that night. That's a different story. But that is a very strict rule that I do stick with it. Like, hey, after 7 p.m. you can email it, but you are not allowed to text and you're not allowed to call.
Yeah.
That's something that I feel like has been beneficial for us, and it has allowed our team to decompress. And also, like, I want them to live life and do their thing, not that they're like nonstop every single day, and then by the end of the week they're burnt out.
Well, it's also helpful for me because I work around 8 a lot during the week, and it's nice to know that like nobody's gonna hit me up right now, and because I can just think or I can just read, and that's also something that's so important. Obviously depends on your goals, but if you are trying to build a company that's like in any way going to, you know, if you want to move anything forward or disrupt, you know, a status quo, I do think you need to just like think. Like, I feel like thinking sometimes is like such a lost art because we're all so like caught up in like notifications and what's going on. Like, do we ever all just like sit down and think about anything?
Instagram, now we have TikTok, there's
emails, text messages.
There's LinkedIn if that's a part of your you know, daily routine. But there's so much that I don't even get to take time to what was the guy's name that you said you really liked him, hearing him speak? Giveon.
Yeah.
I don't even get to have like that time as much anymore where I get to be creative and allow that process to happen, because there's a lot of creativity that comes from silence.
Oh, exactly. And that's something that I think I do need to force upon myself, is like locking myself away from.
Oh, just a quick call.
Just to see what I mean.
We're taking callers now during Smart and Sexy. Call in with any of the things.
Caller number 1. We'll turn on my do not disturb. I thought it was already on. But yeah, so I don't even know. What was I just talking about?
I honestly
lost my train of thought.
But kind of something that with just like slowing down, being more present, so you're able to think and evolve your brand, and you're not on essentially someone else's schedule of like, here, let me help be there for you. I need to just shut down. It's not that you don't need to, you know, help other people. It's just about taking that time for yourself so you are able to be creative and think in the silence when you take that time for you.
I think too, like something we've lost, in my opinion, as somebody who sees this next generation of workers and things like that, and just with the way I from my personal experience, I do feel like a lot of people lack discipline, and I feel like discipline is like very important if you're going to build a brand or build a business or really become great at anything, and it's like such a lost art to me, and you have to find it, because you're not always going to be inspired. You're not always going to be motivated. There is a ton of days where I'm like, I don't have anything to offer, but I show up anyways because...
Or you don't. To be honest, it's okay if you don't show up when you have nothing to offer.
No, but I just mean in terms of discipline. Like in terms of like an overall...
But sometimes part of that discipline is also just shutting down for a moment so that you can regroup for yourself and come back and be better for your team.
Totally.
That is also part of the discipline.
But except I do think that a lot of times today we just have people who are a little bit lazier, and like, because we'll get girls calling out of events, or we'll get people who just don't necessarily want to work at all. And I think it's like, you can't always be like, oh, today I don't feel good. It's like sometimes you have, you know what I mean? Like there's a balance. It's for you and me, we might say, oh yes, sometimes we have to shut off because we struggle with shutting off because we give so much to our company. But there's a lot of people that I've noticed that don't give very much to life in general. They don't really have any discipline at all.
Well, yeah, but that shows up in like, you know, romantic relationships, personal relationships, work. I mean, the way they live their day-to-day lives. Totally. Like, if that's what you want to do, fine. But there's a difference in the people who nurture and, you know, put forth effort into things outside of work. Yeah. Because you can see that reflect in their work.
Oh, of course.
I'm listening to everything you're saying. I just have to like plug this in because I'm gonna forget what I have to say.
Yeah. It's gonna die. Yeah. No, but that's the only thing I was thinking. I just felt like discipline and thinking are like two like dying arts, and I feel like that's like such a big difference of if somebody wanted to start a brand, and that would be my personal advice. Would be, obviously everyone has different advice, but you know, here's the best advice I can give you. Don't listen to anybody's. That's like the best thing I could tell somebody.
Okay. Yes. So we have received so much unsolicited advice in our career. And I feel like there was some great pieces where we took like little nuggets from what people said, and then the rest of it was in one ear and out the other. Yeah. But we always really listen to our own intuition and our own gut. And even if we were wrong, right?
Yeah.
Like even if the mistake that we were making was like, oh wow, this is not good, but at least it was our own mistake and it wasn't someone else's. And I do believe that you learn more from your own mistakes versus listening to other people's bad advice.
Yeah, you do. And then also it strengthens your intuition. Like I feel like there's been so many times where I've been like, what do you think about this? And you'll be like, no. And I'm like, why? And you're like, I don't know, my gut says so. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Because you have to listen to your own intuition.
And yeah, so after you strengthen your own intuition, then you guys listen to your gut, because there are some times that I'm like,
this doesn't feel right.
I have no idea why I even feel this way.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you. There's just something that is saying that this isn't a good idea. Could I be wrong? For sure. But there's something in me that is like, this doesn't feel right.
Right.
And listen to that. As a founder, as someone, if you want to start a company, even if you want to start a very small side business, listen to your gut.
Yeah, that's so true. I agree. That's like some of my advice.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get back on track as to what I was saying, because I had a lot going on.
No, I think those are good. I mean, anyone who wants to start a business, I would start there. And then also, like, the main thing, we say this all the time, is done over perfect. And I actually saw this thing on so if you've listened to the pod before, you know we've said this, done over perfect, because if you're a perfectionist, you'll never put anything out because you'll want something to be perfect.
Which was a huge problem I had for a very long time.
Yeah.
I was constantly wanting to perfect anything
Yeah.
before we did it. But then I was just like not putting
So then
anything
nothing
out.
gets put out. I saw this thing on Twitter, and it's this girl, and she says like she's a perfectionist, so she never puts like her work out. And so she has like a post-it note, and it says do it poorly. And I love that, because it's basically saying like, even if it's, do it poorly, even if it's trash, just put it out, because the truth is it's probably not. And
you can always go back and hit delete.
Yes, and you can always evolve. Like that's how you're gonna learn. That's how you're gonna know.
Yeah.
And by the way, there's things that we put out that I thought were perfect, and then now I'm like, that's horrible.
Like, what was I thinking?
So I would say like those things are all helpful. But yeah, that's about it. And then my last piece of advice is don't call yourself a boss babe or a CEO.
Okay, this is directly for women. I am a woman.
Yes. Thank you.
In case anyone was wondering. I hate the boss babe term. And also, we just found out people were saying CEO.
CEO is so embarrassing. That needs to be illegal. That is horrible.
Right now, I do feel like women, and I have been at fault for this, women are blaming a lot of things on men, of like why we don't get to be certain things, or why we, we're not the same level, or why there's like, a
men hold us back, or
no one holds you back but yourself.
Yeah.
And you may have to work harder than some men do, but there are also some men who have to work harder than someone like a Hailey Bieber, because the privilege comes in all shapes and sizes. Okay. And I am not saying that the white male does not have potentially an easier time than the rest of us.
Sure.
I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
But if we continue to make excuses and call ourselves boss babes and CEOs, we are making ourselves smaller. You are not a boss babe. You are just someone who has a job and you work hard. You are not a CEO. You are a CEO.
I know.
Because it drives me insane.
Because you're furthering the distance between equality. You're like, I'm, it's like, I want equality, but then you're going to call yourself a CEO. No man
calls themselves a CEO.
No man. There is not one man that does that.
No.
Okay.
So if you have that anywhere in a bio on any sort of platform, remove it now. And if you hate on me for saying this, I will take the hate. I will drink your haterade. I do not care. I think it is so cringy, and it makes us look smaller than what we are.
I hate when people call me a boss babe. I hate when they're like girl boss. I'm like, I would rather roll into traffic.
And to be honest, I don't even really love the word boss. And I have to tell you guys, if you think men are calling up their guy friends being like,
you're such a boss.
Hey, boss dude. No one is saying that. And it makes us look ridiculous. It does. To be honest, own your power. Be like, you know what? I did start a dope company, and I am at the same level as everybody else. And I refuse to say that narrative. I refuse to put myself in a box that, I'm a boss babe. No, guess what? You just started a really cool company, and good for you.
Yeah, I mean,
and that's
it's just like, it's I know that people say it with good intentions.
I
and
do
I'm
too,
not-
but it's just like
yeah.
it's cheesy. I
hate
don't
it.
like it. It's the
It's
same
cringy.
way I feel about Doc Martens.
hate
It's cringy.
I hate when people call me a boss babe.
No,
or
I
boss
don't love
bitch
it.
Or a girl boss is the absolute worst. I can't
Sorry,
do that
Sophia
one.
Maruso, I'm just not here for that
I just
one.
can't do that one. I'm sure
No.
she's even moved past it because now it's just like at a ridiculous level. And we're too empowering for people who do the bare minimum. Like we gotta
No.
if you just have a job, I love that for you, but you're just an adult.
And you pay your bills.
That's just called being an adult. Like we gotta stop.
Do I wish someone else paid my bills sometimes? 100%. I don't deny this. I very much am like, it'd be so much better if someone else paid my bills so I could just take my money and use it for clothes. I don't deny that. But stop saying
Boss babe.
stop being
I
the word
hate
boss.
it. I hate it.
Honestly, I'm gonna start calling all the men I know
a boss dude.
a boss.
Boss
dude.
bro.
Boss bro.
You're such a boss bro.
I love it. I'm gonna call my guy friends who started business and be like, "Hey, boss, bro,
No,
what's
the
up?"
next
They'd be
time.
like, "What? What did you just call me?"
Yeah, the next time a guy calls me that. But honestly, it's really the girlies. We gotta
Stop doing that. Just don't do it. Don't say boss babe. Don't say CEO. If
CEO is horrible. CEO is like the worst one to
if
exist.
you are a CEO of your own business, why would you make yourself
Smaller.
Smaller.
Yeah.
A CEO is not a word. It's
Stop.
that.
I can't even hear you say it.
So why would you belittle what you've created or what you run? Like that's
It's
insane
crazy.
to me.
It's crazy.
Don't do that. Just, you know what? Guess what? You are an entrepreneur who started something and was
Yeah.
amazing and that incredible and good for you. Don't make
Yeah.
yourself smaller by calling
No,
yourself
it's true.
things that we made up.
I just also feel like it's like we gotta stop rewarding because it's also then boss babe gets used for girls who just
go to their
They just, like,
their
go to
9 to
school
5
or, like,
and
go
I'm
to-
not,
yeah, which
I'm
is
not
fine.
I am not like shitting on anyone who has a 9 to 5.
No, I
I'm
love
just
it.
saying, so you just are like
An
a
adult.
human being
Yeah.
who is like paying your bills because
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that utilities bill comes every month and you got to pay it, you know? No.
participation trophy central. But it is true because it's like if we want to be this, guys don't do that. So like if we have to decide what we want, do we want the little medal of honor or do we want equality? And if we want equality, then you got to drop the medal of honor
Yeah.
for the bare minimum.
Yeah.
You know, you have to pick.
I like that. Do you want that soccer trophy that everyone got for
Yeah,
participation?
or do you want to be like, no, we're the fucking same? And that's why, like, I have no problem. We've had this conversation. I feel like you and I have gone into boardrooms and closed deals, but we've also done it in a strip club. We've done it in a nightclub because I'm not going to be here and argue with you because I'm like, I don't even have the time of day. It's like, let's just get this done. Let's just move forward.
Have you done a business deal in a strip club?
Yeah, in Atlanta.
Oh, wow.
I was in a turtleneck and glasses. Didn't cheat us.
Definitely never have done that. So
No, but you have like taken clients out and it's been in settings
yeah,
that are
it's
not
been in different
necessarily-
settings. It's just been, I think,
But you don't sit around and argue
unfortunately-
for the equality of a setting. You don't even care. It's like, I don't even have the fucking time because guess what? A man does not walk around and say, oh, don't take me to a nightclub. It's like, no, they don't fucking care. And so it's like, at some point it's like, decide what you want. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure.
So that's my 2 cents. What's your sexy?
Oh, okay. There was just a lot of heat. I mean, I thought I was worked up. You
got me.
took that to a whole new level.
I feel like our opinions are really going to come out on like part 2, season 2, part 2.
Dude, we've started part 2 of season 2 like so many times.
But now it's like the opinions really come out. I feel like season 1, we were very like middle of the road.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Anyway, have you calmed down?
Yeah. Have you calmed down?
I had gotten worked up. I
Yeah.
said my thing about the CEO,
Same.
but like,
Same.
we're moving into sexy.
Yeah. I
Okay.
just said, what's your sexy? We're moving on.
Okay. Oh wow. You guys, she is still going.
Snippy Snoopy.
Her mom calls her Snippy Snoopy. She called her that her whole childhood.
Yeah.
And so
Which is not like a real thing, but she just means that
she
I
just
have
made it
an
up.
attitude.
You're Snippy.
Snippy Snoopy.
We don't know where the Snoopy came from, but the Snippy, we understand. Okay. Okay. My sexy this week is I have 2 dogs, Lola and Odie.
Mm-hmm.
Lola is she's a dog, but she's not super cuddly. She's not super loving, but my Odie is like, I need all the attention. I need all the affection and love. And Mans is very much like a man's where he's like, I'm not like a big snuggly dog guy, but it is the sexiest thing. The other night we're watching a movie, and I caught him. He was snuggled up with Odie on the couch,
wow.
and it was very sexy to me because he was like, "You big bad manly self."
big bad manly self.
Like
It's like
that's cute.
there's like that trend where it's like the dad who didn't want the dog, and then like he ends up being like obsessed with the dog.
That's Mance. He's like, it's a little dog, and I want a big dog, and a dog that will go hiking with me. And I'm like, okay. But then Odie slowly has just like really inserted himself.
Yeah.
He was laying on the couch, and there was a pillow, and then Odie also had laid his head on the pillow. So they were both watching TV with their heads on the pillow.
Yeah.
And then he had his arm around him, and so I was just like,
cute.
that's my sexiest thing for sure.
Cute.
Okay, what's yours?
Mine's a big deal. And I said it on my solo, but you weren't here to hear it. So I have to say it again now that you're here.
Okay.
It's arms.
No, I'm done. Mic drop. I'm finished.
No, it's arms. Because listen, I was watching a music video with a rapper, and he takes his shirt off in it. And I was like, oh, you're having a good day up there.
Are you joking me?
Yeah,
right
and then
now?
I was like, wow, I see what Kels was saying.
No.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Like the shoulder, bicep, like I was like, oh, and then like with the chains, it's like very fire. And I was like, oh my God, my sexy is gonna be arms just because of like this music video and him taking his shirt off. And I thought, wow, what will Kel say?
I am speechless. The amount of harassment and bullying I received from you.
Well, that was because you said every like a tendon in the arm. Like you
I
went
didn't
crazy.
say every tendon.
You were
I
like,
one time said
you were
forearms.
Like, no,
and
you
then
were
I
like
was like,
forearm,
actually,
bicep, tricep, shoulder, traps, hands.
I never did that. I actually will go through every single sexy from every episode, and that's a lie.
You just said arms a lot. You said arms multiple times.
Sometimes, Celeste, I just said it because I didn't have anything that week. I'm not going to lie to you, okay? Sometimes I just bring it back for the fun of it. It was funny.
Okay, but now look, we're twins.
No, we are not twins.
We are twins because
I work really hard on my aesthetic, and we are not twins. I'm so offended that she just tried to steal my sexy after
I watched this
the months of bullying.
Yeah. It was just like, I was like, oh, wow, you're having a great day. And I was just very blown away. It was fire. I guess it was a good day for him. Good day for me because I was in the audience watching this video.
In the audience, she was just at home watching a music video. I was in the audience. Okay.
Great day for him. Good day for me. But yeah, so anyways, that's mine. I thought you'd like that. I said it on my solo, but you weren't there, and it didn't hit the same, so I had to bring it back.
I mean, I'm just upset at this point for the months of teasing. Okay. You guys, we are moving on because I am going to have, there's a little trauma that has been caused from this episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please rate, review, subscribe, tell a friend. It's the biggest help to us. We just started doing shorts on YouTube. Please go hit that subscribe. We got like 5 new subscribers, which I'm hyped on. So be one of those subscribers. Do the right thing and be one of those subscribers on YouTube.
Yes, please. You can find us on Instagram and YouTube at Smartest Sexy and on TikTok at Smartest Sexy by KCH. Thanks, y'all. Bye.